Hey everybody, I know it's been quite some time since I've uploaded a video. I actually had to take a much needed hiatus and break, a little sabbatical, to get my energy recentered, refocused, and grounded during these very intense times we are living in. Yes, however, I feel like it's time for me to bring you guys another message from Spirit. I'm just being really drawn to do it, and I got a new deck, so I'm really interested in learning more about this deck. And here on this channel, I feel like we're just learning together as we go and as we grow. It is my true desire and soul's wish to be fully authentic and upfront and genuine with all of my viewers and the community. So that is why I have chosen for us to take this journey together as a collective, rather than coming across as some like guru or know-it-all, because anybody who tries to act like they just know everything, we already know those people are very fraudulent, and those are usually the people that need the most work internally, that haven't done the work, and they're just not being real with themselves. So yes, I'm coming here to you guys today to let you know that we are in this together, and we're gonna pull some messages from these different decks we have here. So this one is the Pleadian Oracle deck. This is a really incredible deck, and it has a lot of amazing messages in it. I have a Vedic astrologer who I work with, Tamim, and he's incredibly powerful and talented and gifted. So he does occult asteroid readings, and I had recently found out that not recently, I think this was earlier this year, I found out that yes, I was a Lyran. Primarily, that's the starseed that I identify with, is Lyran. However, after I lived as a Lyran, I did go on to live as a Pleiadian before I came to Earth to incarnate here and participate in the civilization of Atlantis. Now, I also know that I've spent time in Lemuria, Mu, as well as working with the Syrians. So I resonate with a lot of different ancient ancestral energies and archetypes and civilizations, but I also resonate with a lot of different star seeds. I recently found out that I've also spent time as a Matakan. So there's a lot of starseed energies that I represent and resonate with, and the Pleiadians is definitely one of them. So I felt really called to this deck. So we'll start by looking at the bottom of the deck to see what underlying energy does this reading hold. So it says, wow, 29, light technology. And as you can see by the image, there's a woman standing in a dock, and she's just looking out into the cosmos. And I feel like this card, this key, is basically trying to say that at this moment in time, now we have to step into more of our light technology, not so much our modern technology that was constructed by man, but our light technology. So this is the technology that is encoded within us. Within us, we do hold light codes, and we hold ancestral cosmic DNA and strands of information that's encoded within our genetic makeup. So I feel like at this time we're really meant to harness more of that technology, and in order to do so, we do have to connect, with our starseed lineage, our cosmic heritage. So that means that yes, we are going to have to take the time to step away from technology, step away from social media, go within and really channel and harness these energies within ourselves, so that we can access these higher fields and densities of information that is available to us. And yes, these are forms of technology, even though they're not man-made, they're more genetic, which is natural. It's still a form of technology. We've been programmed and conditioned to believe certain self-limiting beliefs such as like technology only encompasses man-made things, but that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. You see, these star seeds, they vibrated on 5D and higher, so for them, technology is more than just merely artificial constructs. It has to do with a very natural, primal aspect of our nature as starry beings. So being able to harness these things and access these things are going to be super important. So let's cut the deck and see what other messages these Pleiadians have for us. So, okay, at the top of the deck we have, wow, crystalline grids. So this is going to be the overarching energy and message coming through. And wow, this is such a beautiful key. Number 9. So that is like the closing out of a cycle. And the crystalline grids have to do with the various grids, not only throughout the universe and the multiverse, but also here on Earth. And you know, as they say, as above, so below. So the crystal grids that they have in the higher realms, they align to the crystal grids here on Earth. So there's a reason why our ancestors aligned certain structures with certain celestial bodies. Like for instance, the ancient Kemetic people of the African civilization of the Nile Valley, they would construct pyramids and align them to certain star systems. For instance, the Great Pyramids were aligned to the tertiary star system of Sirius. And there's a reason for this, because on certain dates of significance, you're able to actually harness the energy more from those celestial bodies and pull down to the Earth's field in order to harness these energies. And that's one thing that I really want to reiterate that's so important, and it actually goes into perfect alignment with the light technology, is that we should be embodying and we should be accessing these renewable free resources, because that's exactly what they are. When you work with the celestial bodies, whether it be the moon phases, whether it be the planetary cycles, astrology, astronomy, just all these different arts, whether it be occultic or a science or an art form, is still a form of harnessing light technology and actually utilizing these free resources that are available to us. Just because the work is not done on the 3D doesn't mean that you're not performing the work. In fact, the work that's being performed on the 5D and higher is actually the work that is going to trickle down to the lower densities that we're residing and encompassing at this time, which will transform the earth as we know it. I don't care if it seems far-fetched or whatever, like, just because someone doesn't believe it, it doesn't mean that it's not true. I've witnessed it with my own two eyes unfolding in my own life, the miracles of working with these higher vibrational energies and seeing how it does play a role in the physical, you know, as they say, as above, so below. So yeah, I feel like not only should we be harnessing these renewable energies, but we also should be taking the time to set up our own crystal grids within our homes too, you know. So working with different crystals lately, I've been working with Lemurian crystals. So I recently purchased this Lemurian crystal. This is a tangerine quartz crystal from Lemuria. And yeah, I've been working with these kind of crystals, and they help for different things. I like to keep them near my bed when I sleep, so that way I can really harness the energy and like tap into the messages that my ancestors were leaving behind for me from Lemuria or wherever, you know. Wherever you had incarnations, that is basically where you will be drawing forth a lot of your messages from, like your past lives or your ancestors just trying to get in touch with you, or your guides, you know, they're trying to tell you something through different forms and mediums. Oftentimes they do come in dreams, you know. So at the bottom of the deck we have, wow, cosmic unity, number 44. And 44 is a master number that reduces to 8, which represents infinity and eternity. And this is a very astounding image. So cosmic unity. So that's all about us coming together as one within the multiverse. You see, the multiverse is forever expanding. it's forever expanding, you guys. Like in each and every moment that passes, it's expanding. No matter what we're doing here on the 3D, if we're being stagnant or not, the multiverse is always expanding, and we are playing a critical role in its expansion. So the more that we expand on an individual basis and as a collective, the more we contribute to the multiverse expanding and developing and being created. You see, contrary to what religious beliefs tell you about God creating the earth in 7 days and 7 nights or whatever, it's not true, because that just signifies one event. And time is an illusion, you know? So the only real thing is the present moment. That's the only thing that exists. So in each and every present moment, that is when we are creating. So we have to stay grounded in the present moment in order to consciously create. Because usually what we're doing is we're subconsciously or unconsciously creating. And that is something we don't want to do, you know? And here at the Modern Alchemist, that is something that we personally teach, is how to become more of a conscious creator, you know? Working with different energetic fields, different densities, different vibrations and frequencies in order to create and expand as a cosmic being. So this cosmic unity, it talks about us being one as well. You know, so often in this dense reality, we've become so consumed with materialism and artificial things and superficiality that we feel like it's just all about us. You know, we just live in a very ego-based consciousness to think that we just have to constantly feed the ego, but really we are all one. So what one does is going to affect the collective. And that's not just on a planetary level or a tribal level. Like, yes, you'll have groups that you identify with more so than others, but regardless, the entire multiverse and all the beings that are a part of the ecosystem of the multiverse are one entity. We're all a part of the same one cosmic intelligence. So what one does always affects the other. There's always going to be some kind of cause and effect, no matter what. Okay, so we're going to just pull on a few more cards from this Pleadian Oracle deck. Wow, this one is already popping out. And I haven't even asked the question yet, so we'll still just take it. So it's number 23, Galactic Core. Wow. I feel like all of these cards are just going hand in hand with one another. So, you know, I feel like what this key is saying is that at our center, you know, within our vessels, because we are cosmic beings, we all hold a cosmic core and a galactic core within ourselves that also aligns to our own galactic core. So I feel like by activating and harnessing the energies from the galactic core within our own galaxy, we're then able to activate that same core within our internal galaxy. So once we align these energies together, I feel like a lot of change and power and deep metamorphosis and transformation takes place. One on a level that is just so profound that it supersedes anything in the 3D or the physical that we feel is valuable or important, you know? Just making sure that we're right with it from within. That is probably the most important thing we can do for ourselves right now, because we're living in a time of a lot of internal conflict, mental disruption, you know, chaos, instability. I mean, there's just a lot taking place and unfolding, you know? So making sure that our galactic core is as strengthened as possible is probably going to be one of the most important and imperative things we can do moving forward into 2022. So, okay, before I shift any cards, let's ask some questions. Spirit and Pleiadians, I would like some answers regarding like what should we as a collective be focused on right now? Is there anything in particular we should be focused on at this time that will breed more love, more light, more beauty, more happiness, more stability, more comfort? Too many cards, Spirit. I just need one card, Spirit. Thank you. What should we be focused on as a collective, Spirit, right now to keep us strengthened, to keep us grounded, to keep us focused? so that we don't become thrown off of our course and thrown off of our path. Spirit, what should we be focused on right now? Wow, this is really deep. Number 10, telepathy. How beautiful is this? And they have the Buddha with the Great Pyramids of Giza that I was just talking about. And the number 10 represents the completion of a cycle. And Buddha represents just an incredible master, an ascended master who has really transcended the physical limitations of both the mind and the ego by embodying a true integral part of what it means to be a being that's resonating at their highest capacity from a place of unconditional love, from a place of acceptance, forgiveness, all of those things. You see, right now more than anything, it's time for us to open up our heart. And I feel like this key, telepathy, it represents the heart chakra as well, because the heart chakra is primarily how we communicate in a higher frequency. We communicate through how we show love, not only to ourselves, but to others, you know? I mean, in this society, people have become so selfish and so fixated on themselves that, and so vibrating from a place of fear that they literally feel as if the only way they can really get ahead in life is by stepping on other people, or, you know, only caring about themselves. But that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. You see, that actually indicates a person that is living in a deep-seated and rooted fear that there will never be enough for them, that their root chakra is completely out of balance. And so sometimes we have to look at things that people do rather than what they say, you know? Because what they do, their actions will prove so much more to you than what they're actually saying. So this goes for like keeping your relationships intact and making sure that you're keeping solid people around you. Don't look at what they say, look at what they do, look at their actions, because that will tell you everything you need to know about that individual. And there will be so many contradictions that you will be able to see once you start harnessing your third eye and your pineal gland starts activating at a much higher frequency. You'll be able to see things a lot more clearly, and you will naturally start to just shed layers of yourself to where you no longer even align with those kind of people anymore, and you slowly start to distance yourself from them, and the relationship may dissolve and dissipate. But guess what? Letting go is a form of massive healing on a higher level. So never be afraid to let things go that are no longer in alignment with yourself. This is going to be so important, you know, utilizing this telepathic communication, getting in touch with non-ordinary forms of communication, you know, not just looking at the verbal, what people are saying verbally or what they're portraying or displaying outwardly, but really listening and seeing. You know, there's different forms of listening. Listening isn't just with the physical ears. You need to be observant at all times. It's very important that you are. That way you get to know a person more intimately, even if they aren't saying or communicating exactly what, you know, is intended to be conveyed. You can still understand where the person is coming from, because you are taking on a higher form of communication, which is to listen, to observe, to pay attention in non-ordinary fashions. And also, I feel like that key is talking about just going into telepathic communication, not only with the ancestors and with your spirit guides and everything around you, all the signs and the symbols that we see on a day-to-day basis, but telepathically communicating with other souls, you know? Okay, let's see. So, Spirit, we would like to ask you another question, okay? What do you feel, Spirit, is going to be the most important energy moving into 2022? Oh, sorry, why do I always say it like that? 2022. What energy should we be embodying in 2022 as a collective that's going to bring us the most wholeness, the most balance, the most elevation? Ooh. Okay, Spirit has spoken. So for 2022, wow, Sound Codex. Oh, look at that. That is a really amazing card. Now this has to do with harmonics, frequencies, vibrations. See, this is a Mayan temple here, and then you have a jaguar, and you see all of these frequencies, and wow, look at that green energy emerging from that pyramid. And again, green represents the heart chakra. So I feel like, so in 2022, we could be utilizing different sounds, different frequencies in order to harness and magnetize different types of energetic fields and frequencies that we're trying to bring into creation. So whether that be utilizing like binaurals or solfeggios or different alpha, beta, brainwave frequencies, or even like lately I've been doing a mixture of binaurals and subliminals together to really reprogram my subconscious mind. But I feel like sound, music, those are all harmonics and those are frequencies, and they create various octaves and energy. And I feel like this is how our ancestors were able to harness so much cosmic energy, because they utilized sound. They knew the power of sound was so important. This could also be chanting, you know, or even like if you have a calling to go into doing music or utilizing your voice, whatever it may be. I just feel like utilizing those proper harmonics is what's going to be activating the energy that is really needed moving into 2022. And that could be however you see fit, you know. What may work for one person may not work for another. But I feel like that is what Spirit is calling us to do moving into 2022. So however you apply that to your personal life, go ahead and apply it. You know, for me, I've had issues with my activation of my throat chakra for so long. I didn't really know how to verbalize my own truth in a way that was healthy or productive. It came out as anger, as frustration, as aggression, and people thought I had an issue. Like they thought I was borderline, you know, psychotic, because how my expression came out. So for me personally, activating that throat chakra and verbalizing that throat chakra and my expressions and my feelings and my emotions verbally was really something that assisted me on my journey of tapping into these higher frequencies. So yeah. Also just the use of music, binaurals, solfeggios, different hertz and frequencies activate different portals within ourselves. And that's how we become more aligned and attuned to these higher densities. But without having some kind of like practice, we will just limit ourselves. And like, if you want to go further, then you really should allow yourself to harness and tap into your own powers. And it's beautiful because I feel like, wow, all of these cards are so aligned. Oh my goodness. I mean, light technology, cosmic unity, crystalline grids, galactic core, telepathy, and sound codex. Interesting, very interesting. So we have energies of both the earth, ourselves as individuals, and the cosmos playing out right there. And they all go hand in hand with one another, so that makes a lot of sense. So now I'm going to pull from this deck. I don't know if I have it, but it's basically the light code deck, I want to say. Or wait, hold on, let me grab it, because I want to give you guys the right information in case you guys want to go out to get these decks yourself. So for this one, okay, the secret language of light. I'm glad I did grab that. Otherwise, I would have been giving you guys the wrong information. And that's by Denise Jarvie. So that's the one I'm going to call from. The one that I did call from before that was the Pleadian Oracle. Okay, so let's call from this secret language of light, transmissions from your soul. Okay, so for the underlying energy at the bottom of the deck, we have soulcraft. Wow. This couldn't be more of a powerful underlying energy for this reading right now. So I feel like this key and spirit really wants us to tap into crafting what it is our soul is calling us to do. Like really getting in touch with your spirit, really getting in touch with your heart, really aligning yourself to what it is that's going to fill your cup. Because as you please yourself, not from a selfish perspective, but as you fill your soul, you don't know what that does for other people when you're really in tune and aligned with what brings your soul the most joy, what brings your soul the most peace, the most fulfillment. That's the very reason why we even incarnate. Okay, yes, we also incarnate for other reasons, you know. Sometimes we're here to assist the planet, but that's also aligned with our soul, because you have to keep in mind anything that any contract or mission that we agreed to or adhered to before coming to the earth plane is what our soul was in alignment with, because otherwise we wouldn't be doing it. Other times it is to, like, you know, resolve karmic debts and patterns and issues from the past so that we can continue to ascend. But in a very, very primal nature, we have incarnated upon this earth plane to bring our soul the most fulfillment possible. And in doing so, we're actually doing some of the greatest work that can be performed. Like, we are really blessing not only those around us, the earth, but the multiverse and all who reside within it, because this is just being really in tune with your soul's purpose, your soul's mission, you know? But we're being tested because here on the 3D, we've been taught to basically do what society wants us to do, to adhere to a certain status quo or standard, rather than getting in touch with what it is we truly want as souls, not as this physical vessel or how we physically identify, but not the ego, but what our soul wants. And sometimes we're so out of alignment with what our soul truly wants and what we're going after that we keep reaching like points of frustration and just depression and, you know, extreme sadness and just feeling empty. Well, why do you think you're feeling empty like that? It's because you're denying the very fabric of your being. And the more you continue to ignore what it is your soul is craving, the more empty you are going to feel. So ensuring that we're crafting this soul is going to be very imperative moving forward, you guys, moving into 2022 and beyond. Okay, Spirit, what other messages do you have for us? So I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck. Ew, excuse me. Okay, so at the top of the deck we have, color. And look at that beautiful heart being activated. So yeah, I feel like this has to do with living more vibrantly, introducing more color in your life, not from a 3D sense of like physical colors, but just living a more colorful, rich, fulfilling, vibrant life, you know? And that goes into perfect alignment with soul crafting, because as you live a more colorful and vibrant life that isn't dull and lackluster or based on what somebody else wants from you or what your ego desires, you then begin to craft your soul. You really do. So this is perfect. And like, wow, I love how these cards are just, man, this is magnificent. These are portals opening up that we didn't even know existed until we started to do these things. And then at the bottom of the deck, so this is what's lurking in our subconscious. We have, wow, manifestation, number 25. Yes. And I feel like this has been coming up in the subconscious layers of a lot of the readings I've been doing for the collective, because in our unconscious, we're always, no matter what, we're always manifesting. Whether you want to call it attracting, creating, manifesting, whatever. If you're not doing it at a super conscious or conscious level, you're doing it at a subconscious and unconscious level. And when you're not in alignment, when those fields of consciousness are not in alignment, that's when you do begin to create events to unfold in your life, or feelings or emotions in your life that you may not feel are the most comfortable. But that's because Spirit is trying to tell you something, Spirit is trying to get you to wake up and to see that your life does require more introspection, more reflection, and it requires you going within and quieting your mind so that you can get in more touch with what it is that you truly desire. Because so many people are very out of touch with what they desire. They're just doing for other people, living for other people, So Spirit, we're going to call on the same questions from the last deck. What energy should we be embodying as a collective right now? Finishing off the rest of 2021. What energy as a collective should we be embodying, Spirit? How can we continue to move forward? Wow. So 2 cards came out. We're going to take it. It says Soul Tree. Beautiful. Oh, wow. I really love this image. This is very powerful. And for some reason, intuitively, I feel like this is stating that Spirit is really calling upon us to ground ourselves within the earth so that we can build this soul tree on the earth. We've been doing the internal work. Now it's time to see the fruits of our labor starting to take shift and mold into this new earth that we're creating. And a big part of that is going to be us as individuals grounding and planting our soul tree so that this can expand further and forward to other people, so we can inspire and influence other people to do the same thing. So by living our truth and by planting our soul tree, we're going to inspire others to do the same. Now, what is a soul tree? I don't know what the author means by soul tree per se, but I think that it has to do with your heart's wish, your soul's desire, and planting that firmly upon the earth, so that way, by you living your truth, this is going to expand outward, and it's going to have some very monumental effects and the law of cause and effect. So by planting these seeds, by cultivating our soul's greatest wish, this is going to plant this soul tree, and it's going to expand in ways that is just totally unstoppable. So how some say we're at a spiritual war, I try to look at more optimism, but I do know that there's a lot of malevolent energies out there that exist, not only in the world, but throughout the entire multiverse. So I feel like by really grounding and harnessing your light and activating your light, that's the best defense against any malevolent forces. Just do what fulfills your soul. And then 29, you are the universe came out. Wow. So yes, this has to do with that cosmic unity that the Pleadian deck was talking about. We are one with the universe. We are one with Source. We are one with God. We are never separate from that. That will always be a part of us, no matter what. So no matter what anybody says, does, or tries to impose on you, just know that you are not separate from God. You are not separate from Source. You are not separate from the universe. We are always and eternally one with the Divine Mother, with all that is, you know? We are infinite beings of light. Death has been a very prominent theme taking place. Recently, a lot of people have been dying in a 3D sense of the word dying, but death is just a form of transforming from one state to another. In essence, these vessels, they're just temporal, you know? They were never meant to house a spirit for eternity. So detaching from the identity of your physical vessel and the physical vessels of the other spirits that you come into contact with, that you build a relationship with or love, is going to be very important moving forward, because these malevolent energies and entities, they do feed on lower vibrational energy. They're really just parasites. I'm not even going to call them malevolent. They're just here to survive, and in order to survive, they have to feed off of some kind of source. You know, it's a form of them sustaining themselves. So when you're engaging in lower vibrational activities and energies, just know that you're feeding parasitic entities who are looking at you as a source. So instead of feeding these parasitic entities, make sure that you're feeding your soul and your heart. Keeping your heart chakra in alignment. And yes, the true purpose of what humans are supposed to be learning is unconditional love. You know, I know a lot of people shun the idea of it, but this is something that we are supposed to be mastering in this world and in this universe. So Spirit, please give us one more card, one more message to finish this portion of the reading off with. Just one, Spirit, just one, please. We don't have a specific question for you as a collective. We just want to know what messages you have for us that will help us stay aligned and attuned on our path. These are really uncertain times that we're living in. How can we stay strengthened, Spirit? How can we stay confident and stay sturdy? What energy? Wow. Okay. So, it didn't fall out, but this card keeps on appearing to me, and it keeps calling on me. So, I really want to pull it out. And it's number 22, Divine Animals. Wow. How beautiful, you guys. And look at that ethereal lion emerging from the subconscious waters of the noon and the primordial abyss, with this beautiful sun radiating above his head. So I'm being intuitively called to decipher this in a few different ways. One, okay, the lion, you know, that represents the heart, and then there is a heart in the image. So not only the heart chakra is coming through in this key, but also the solar plexus chakra, you guys. So I feel like Spirit really wants us to balance out all of our chakras and get them in attunement and alignment. Because if we don't do this kind of work first and foremost, the rest is pretty much obsolete. I mean, you could do all the 3D work you want in the world and still not get the results that you're looking for, or obtain whatever it is that you're seeking, simply because you denied yourself from doing the soul work and the inner work. So I feel like Spirit is saying, get in touch with your heart. Get in touch with your lion spirit, you guys. Call upon this lion's heart. This is courage, you know what I mean? This is stepping fully into your power, fearlessly. Not caring what other people think, not being feared of being judged, still being your authentic self, no matter how unconventional, how eccentric, how different you may be. Just following your intuition and like leading with your heart first and foremost. I don't know, because I've had to say it many times, but it's so true that the ancient Kemetes, they didn't call the heart the seat of the soul for no reason, okay? The heart always knows what's best. You see, the mind plays tricks on us. The ego plays tricks on us. It confuses us. it gets us out of alignment with our soul's purpose and journey and mission and reason for even coming into physical form in the first place. But the heart is something that is physical, but it's also ethereal. So it's a multi-dimensional organ, you know what I mean? That's occupying multiple spaces simultaneously, and that is the core of your intelligence right there. If something doesn't feel right within your heart, your spirit, your soul, and your gut, because it's all aligned through the vagus nerve system, then you know that that thing is not right for you. And the more that you deny or allow that thing that you know is not right for you to continue unfolding and taking place in your auric field and within your existence, the more you are essentially killing parts of your spirit, because you know that it doesn't feel right. If something doesn't feel right, 9 times out of 10 it isn't right, you know. So you have to follow that. And we'll just see a few more cards. So we have the divine feminine was right under that, which we all know that the divine feminine is on the rise right now. We've been living in a patriarchal society for much too long, and there's been a major imbalance, and it's been causing a lot of disharmony. Also, there's a divine feminine movement taking place, you know. I feel like it started with the goddess life movement or whatever, but it got turned into something that wasn't truly the divine feminine. So there's a lot of feminines going around stating that they're the divine feminine when they're really not the divine feminine, because if you were the divine feminine, then you would display characteristics that are indicative of the divine feminine. What do I mean by that? The divine feminine is receptive. She magnetizes things to her. She also is super nurturing, not just to like her family, but to all of humanity. She radiates from a place of unconditional love. So if you see people masquerading themselves as divine feminines or goddesses and they're not embodying these energies, just please know that they're a fraud. And stop falling for that stuff, you guys, because it's very disingenuous. And even though a lot of these humans don't see it because their pineal glands are calcified and their chakras are out of alignment, just know that spirit and the great ones, they see you for who you truly are. So if you are one of those people that's out there masquerading to be something you're not and putting up a false mask, just know that eventually during this age of Aquarius, you will be called out for that, and you will be revealed. Your true intention, your true self will be revealed. And that's why I've always tried to be very transparent, you know. I've always said that I know that I wasn't radiating with my divine feminine energy for the longest of times. I've always been somebody who's resonated more with my masculinity. Like, I've always been pretty egotistical for a good portion of my life. I've always been very forceful, action-oriented. I just recently, during this Cancer season, had began to really empower and embody this divine feminine energy, which is teaching me forgiveness, acceptance, unconditional love, love without expectation, and just truly being receptive to the gifts that the cosmos has for us, rather than feeling like I have to go out and take it or force it, or, you know, it shouldn't be like that. The divine feminine energy is free-flowing, and it's something that both men and women both should be harnessing within themselves. Bringing those two into balance within yourself has never been more important than right now. So finding the balance between the yin and the yang within yourself. That way you're not searching for it externally, or your ego's not becoming in disalignment, you know what I mean? Because that's what happens when you're not balanced within. Your ego becomes out of alignment and becomes imbalanced. And then we had inner voice, beautiful. So this is really channeling, harnessing, tuning in with your inner voice, becoming more aware of what it is that your internal self is here to tell you, because our internal self and our higher self always has messages for us, because this is our authentic self, you guys. The ego is not us, even though we identify with it. Oftentimes it's not who we truly are, you know. This inner self, this higher self, this is the real us. And this is the us that wants to shine through This is the us that wants to take us on a real journey to the unknown. So personally, I've been told by my inner self that it's time to relinquish the need to know. I'm someone who became very obsessed with having to know, and that is the ego wants that instant gratification of needing to know. No, why? Why do I need to know? I don't need to know. All I have to do is embrace whatever lies ahead, and know that we are not always in control like we believe we are. We're in control of ourselves, how we portray ourselves to the world, our actions, how we feel, things of that nature, can to somewhat of a degree be controlled. Sometimes it can't. It depends on in how authentic you are or not. But for the most part, we're not in control. The divine is in control, and so we can't always predict the future, So even though we can speculate, and that's all we ever do is speculate, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can know or that we're in control. So relinquishing that need is something I personally had to learn, and that's what my internal voice was telling me, to just go with the flow, relax, step fully into my divine feminine, and just roll with the tides, So let's see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. So one more card, focus. Wow. This is amazing, and this is really important because right now there's so many things that's calling us and distracting us and pulling at us, from the news, all of the fear tactics. It's just really, it's a desperate attempt, a desperate last attempt at that, to get people to continue to stay stuck in the matrix because they know that they're losing this power and losing this control, and that that's beginning to slowly but surely dissipate. That's the reason why they're so desperately trying to enforce these fear tactics onto us at this time and distract us from the work that we really should be doing, which is always soul work. No matter if you're working on your 3D matters or what, soul work should always be at the core and root of what you're doing. That should always be number one. So really focusing on that, focusing on yourself and getting in tune with yourself is going to be super vital, because it's going to not only heal you as an individual, it's going to inspire others to go and do the same. So we always want to make sure we're leading by example and that we're focusing on the things that matter, not on the programs, not on these like, I call it's propaganda is what it is, So getting sucked into all the fear of the news and all of that crap. I mean, hey, some things are important. It's good to be in tune with what's taking place in the world. I'm not saying you shouldn't be aware or conscious of what's unfolding. You definitely must be. And harnessing your third eye and activating your pineal gland is what's going to ensure that you're always very alert and aware of what's taking place around you, so that you can plan accordingly. But for the most part, focusing on what it is that your higher self is telling you, your inner self is telling you, and your intuition is telling you, those should be the things that you should be focusing on more so, because that side and aspect of you wants you to get more in touch with your soul's purpose and wish. So it'll teach you and show you what to do. It'll instruct and guide you. So like, for instance, if you have these great talents and gifts, right, that really want to come through and be shared with the world, how are you going to even express those gifts if you're so distracted and focused on all the propaganda and all of the fear tactics? Well, you're not going to, because you're going to be so out of balance, so out of alignment, that those things will naturally just not even be able to be channeled properly or expressed or materialized properly, or transferred properly. Because usually if you have a creative ability, which we all have different creative abilities, the only way to truly harness it and hone in on it is to focus on what it is that thing is, So yeah. So those were the messages from the Secret Language of Light, which were amazing messages. I'm just going to call upon 3 more cards, 3 more messages from the universe that wants to come through for us today in this moment to the collective. Universe, Spirit, what messages would you like us to know today? Just give us 3 cards. Spirit, let us know. What would you like us to know in the here and now? How can we empower ourselves moving forward? How can we continue to stay in alignment? Oh, Siler, be quiet. I'm doing something right now. I'll be right there to let you in. Sorry, my dog is very spoiled. Okay, we got 1. Just 2 more, Spirit. What should we be focused on as a collective? What messages do you want to come through for us today in this moment that can assist us on this journey, keep us empowered in alignment and focused on our soul's mission and path? Wow, so we have light. It's time to reveal your radiant light to the world. Beautiful. So I feel like this is coming through specifically for someone in the collective right now who has been perhaps ignoring their light or diminishing their light in some kind of way out of fear. I feel like Spirit is telling you that you're free to, and you have the full support of the universe and your spirit guides to go ahead and shine this light and, stop hiding from the world, stop hiding from whatever it is that is keeping you in a state of submission and fear. I feel like Spirit really wants you to come through and really wants you to shine forth that beautiful light that you have within you. We all have light within us, so at this time it's really important that be revealed, so do whatever it takes to ensure that you have the comfort, the stability, the groundedness, and the confidence to really shine that beautiful light that's just waiting to be released to the world. Because when you do that, you're really going to be in full alignment with whatever it is that you came here to do and your soul's mission. So the second card was love. Live your truth and share the love that is in your soul. Beautiful. Yes, and I feel like this goes with the last card of light. Like, this has to do with not fearing showing your love, because our souls are unconditional love. Our souls have nothing but unconditional love to express and share. So I feel like this card is speaking to someone in the collective right now who may have been harboring resentment, harboring some kind of ill will, or I don't know what it is. It could be guilt, shame, just any lower vibrational energy that you've been harboring onto, whether it's in regards to how you love yourself or how you love another. I feel like Spirit is telling you to just relinquish that, and start new. Start vibrating from a place of love and just live your truth. That way you can do this, authentically, and do it from a place that is truly fearless, because showcasing and truly embodying and exemplifying unconditional love is probably one of the most fearless things we can do, because it literally disables the ego completely, because it's unconditional love. Wow. And the last card, Starseed. Raise the vibration of the planet through your radiant loving light. Wow, what a way to wrap up this reading. Okay, so we pulled light, then love, and now Starseed, which is telling us to radiate our loving light through raising the vibration of the planet. So yes, I feel like this is Spirit speaking to all of us to keep our vibration very high at this time, whether it's through daily practice or reading or going within, or taking the time to really just get more in touch with yourself. I feel like Spirit is really, really pushing us to step away from all the noise, step away from all the chaos, so that you can raise your vibration and not be so impacted by others and external stimuli that can keep us in a state of being programmed and dumbed down and heavy, you know? So yes, this is beautiful. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Spirit. What a lovely reading. Well, I'm so glad I was able to catch up with you guys. You can find more information in the description below if you need to reach out or just want to communicate with somebody from your soul star tribe. Ultimately, I'm here to build a community, so slowly but surely we will get there, and I'll stay as consistent as I can with these readings, at least to try to do them once a week. But because I am with child and I'm like less than 9 weeks of going into delivering my star seed into the planet Earth, I know that that's going to take up so much of my time and energy, but I'm going to at least try to do one reading per week for you guys, for less than, and make it less than an hour. That way it doesn't take up too much of your time or my time, because at the end of the day, even though time is an illusion, it's very valuable in the 3D sense, and we have things we still have to do and manage and juggle. So yeah, but anyways, I'm really glad I was able to come speak to you guys today, and I really look forward to channeling more messages for you guys from the divine, from my own experience and real world wisdom and life experience. And yeah, until next time, Nova out. Mwah, much love.